So as you can tell, a busy week in the sun, being ginger. And anyway, it's Friday. I had a shorter day today. Finished about 2:30. So we're going to be working on the Dispatch again. Back when I was younger, I was terrible for starting projects and just never finishing them. And I feel like I've gone the other way these days. Like I can't like shut off until it's finished. So pretty much want to get this done ASAP. So 7 o'clock this morning, I went up to a battery manufacturer supplier and I got some bits for the van, so I'll show you them. Okay, so we've got an AGM battery. So basically AGM's ideal because it doesn't release gas and it doesn't leak acid if you damage it. Not only is it a lead, is it an AGM, but it's a carbon version. Now, when they add carbon into the battery, it just means it's even better, more stable, but primarily it's more resilient in low temperatures. Now, in winter, we'll be running this van, you know, as low as 1 or 2 degrees. So I thought it made no difference really to the price. So we've got that. Also, we've also got the wiring then to connect the battery up to the bus bar and all the wiring for the shunt. So I got to make up all the wires. So what I'll do, I'm probably just going to bash it out and then we can sort of video the first sort of boot up, because technically this system's never booted up yet. We can use the smart monitor as well, try and log into that, start up the engine, see if the charger works, and just generally, you know, make some progress on this build. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so we've fit this now. It's got basically it's a negative isolator. So the positive will have a fuse on it. This will have, and then the isolator is just on the negative side. So it comes, basically that's going to connect to the battery once I put that in there. Then it comes out the battery into the smart shunt, which does all the monitoring, out the shunt into the bus bar then. We got to do the same for a positive, but instead of going through the bus bar, it's just literally going to go straight from the bus bar to the battery. Regarding the earth, I need to fit a chassis common ground, it's called. So it's going to use a ground for this bus bar is going to be grounded to the chassis and to the system. So the split charger can have a return connection basically to the system, because at the moment it's just a one-way feed. So we can either put it straight to the chassis, but because the battery's only there, I'm thinking I might as well just run a wire straight to it. It's going to be more reliable. And 9 times out of 10, the things that tend to fail with these batteries chargers, when I had one before, it was the grounds. It was always a bad ground. So I'm thinking if I can just connect it straight to the battery post under the floor, it's going to just be the most reliable solution. But the downside is more wires. So try to keep the wiring to, you know, as neat as possible. All that'll be hidden, but it's just no getting around it. You know, there's lots of wires needed, so it is what it is. Okay, so here's the battery. Now, I don't know if it's the fact that it's a carbon AGM. I'm not an expert on batteries, although I have been a bit of a obsessed with research and everything. But basically, the faster you draw the current, the less storage the battery has, effectively. Now, it doesn't actually mean the battery's getting smaller, but what it is, it's just due to heat and resistance, it's just less efficient getting the power out. So the total amp hours that you get out of the battery can work out at being a lot less than what you think you've paid for. So that's why I always go to this specific battery place called Supac in Merthyr. They sell, you know, stuff that's actually gonna perform like it says on the sticker. Now you can go Halfords, grade A, grade B, grade C. Like, what does it even mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's just marketing stuff. This is like, you know, actual scientifically tested data here, which we can go off. Now, rant over, this battery is really good because even if you pull the power at C5, which basically means you discharge the battery in 5 hours, it doesn't seem to have a massive fall off. So if you look into the Pukert exponent, if you're interested in all that, my 400 amp hour battery on my Pro Ace. By the time I account for the charge, discharge flow and the Pucurt exponent, I've only actually got about 30% of that battery available if I'm going to be using the pressure washer. So it's still enough, but it's just something to bear in mind. So anyway, enough of that. Let's get it in and we can start wiring it up. Okay, so the wiring's now in place. So positive from the battery, fused here into the bus bar, negative bus bar through the monitoring shunt, through the isolation switch to the battery, and then obviously, as we discussed previously, that gets its power. From there, all the circuits go through that, including them. So I think that's everything. So it's the first time we're going to switch it on. Let's just do it. Here we are. That was uneventful. So let's see if the lights work. Hey, we have light. Pumps. I'll turn it off because the battery's pump's not plumbed in. So yeah, it's all working well. So I think what we'll do next is just connect up the cable here to the smart shunt. Then I'll go in and I'll just turn the lights on and I'll just make sure that it's detecting a current draw. So that's plugged in now. I'll turn these on. There should be an illuminated gauge down here, which there is. So I'm going to connect to that through Bluetooth now. I'll edit in a clip where I've got a second phone and I can show you how it all works. Okay, so I am sticking with my plan. I've run another earth and I'm going to put it straight onto the battery. Looking at the earth, we can see it's in less than ideal shape and there's no attachment for me to add an earth onto. So I'm going to just cut it off. But there, get to some fresh wire. Then I'm going to change the battery clamp for one. That's going to allow me to put 2 terminals on, and then I'll have a nice solid earth then. Okay, so there's the new clamp. New earth to the van, new earth to the charger circuit. So I think what we'll do, we'll start it up and then we'll just check to see that the charging's working. And then whilst I'm doing that, I'm also going to show you the app as well. So we could monitor this through this gauge, but I'm going to do it through the app because it gives us more information. So if we go on the Vitron Connect, it's also picking up my Pro Ace, which is parked at the front. But we're going to connect to this one, which I'll have to rename so I know which is which. So it's saying it's 12.8 volts and there's no load. It's saying that the starter battery is only at 0.03 volts. So clearly I've got something to work on there because the auxiliary must not be connected properly. So I'll look into that in a little bit. It could be something silly. So what we'll do now is start up the van and hopefully it starts, and if it does we'll see hopefully that it's charging. Well, hey, we have charge. Now because the battery's fully charged pretty much, it's not going to take a lot of amps. But yeah, happy days, it's all working good. Okay, so look at that, looking really good. And something I noticed on the monitor, this doesn't actually cut off till 12.8 volts. So it's not quite as smart as a battery to battery charger. So what effectively that means is for the first sort of 10% of the usage, they remain one system, these two batteries. Only once it comes down to 12, say it's idles about 12.9 and a half volts when it's off. Only once it hits 12.8 there's a disconnect from this battery. So basically I turned the hazards on and it was pulling power from them until it hits that 12.8 cut off, and then they become separate systems again. So it just protects this system from draining that and you not being able to start the van. So yeah, interesting. Next I'm going to just cable tie this new cable, nice and neat, but it's pretty much finished now. So for the electrics, so we're just going to put this box cover on and just, you know, finish some of these details up. Okay, and we're done for today. So rewired that, or just neatened it up a bit, and here we are. The window cleaning system is now done. All we have to fit are the reels, and then we're onto the outside stuff then. So we've got lots to keep us busy cosmetically. So let's take a little look just to see what we got to look forward to. There's an oil leak which I'm still skirting around finding. So basically we got a wing which I'll order soon. Probably just get one in the right colour. Down the side of the van is a little dent in the door and the sill, so we're gonna have it painted, and then once that's done we'll have the sign writing done and it's ready for work. But we have got to get that oil leak and potentially change a wheel bearing. But yeah, quite the project when we had it. But as you can see, it's turning into a really nice little van now, and can't wait to get this system in out in the field and get it working up and earning some money. So anyway, I think we'll call it a day for that one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.